15 years, blowing the doors off the competition. Podcasting to planet Earth.
PNRNetworks.com.
Now entering the PNR Networks arena, coming down the aisle from Revere, Massachusetts, weighing in at absolutely none of your business. It's the Mistress of Mayhem, the Queen of Quips. It's time for Ring Around the Rosie with your hostess, Kim Brown.
Hey out there on the internet, did you miss me? Well, I missed you. Hi guys, I'm Kim Brown and welcome to Ring Around the Rosie if you've never been here before. If you have been here before and have been wondering where I was, I'm back. Although I've actually never been away, I've just been in the house. You know, with this whole COVID thing, which has been really scary for a lot of people, and I know a lot of people have been through some very scary stuff. I hope everyone's doing well and is safe, and get your shots, wear a mask if you still don't feel comfortable, and I hope everybody's safe. So, as I mentioned, I'm back. So this is me coming back to the internet, and was away for a long time simply because it just wasn't working for me. So I just decided to come back and hop back on the interwebs and start talking to you guys about wrestling again. Yay! Just to give you like a quick recap, I've been a wrestling fan since 1980. I'll just say the mid-80s and just leave it there. I pretty much, I'll watch anything once, any wrestling that's out there, I'll watch, I'll check it out, see if I like it. I am not one of these people that is like, well, you have to like so-and-so and only so-and-so because that's stupid. It's just dumb. It's just, I cracks me up so bad, to go on Twitter and stuff like that and see, people being like, if somebody says something like, if somebody's not even meanly critical of, like, let's just say, for example, AEW, if somebody says, well, I really didn't like that this happened, or just one this, not even this, just one little thing, then you'll have some people just jump on them and be like, oh, well, you're obviously a WWE stan, blah, 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 you're a shill, blah, blah, blah. And it works the other way, too. First of all, I would like to say here and now, and I've brought this up before, on my Supernatural podcast, Platinum Rose's Garden, which you can go back and listen to if you want, if you are a Supernatural fan, because once you're a member of the Supernatural family, you never really leave. That might have sounded a little creepier than I intended it to. Oops. Anyway, but I have brought this up numerous times, and I'm bringing it up again because fuck it, it's my show. You're gonna hear that a lot too. Fuck it, it's my show, because that's how I feel. It's just nobody's telling me what to do, and yay, First Amendment. I hate the term stan. I hate it. Absolutely despise it. Because, and I don't know when this became a thing. I mean, I know why it became a thing, but I don't know why people decided, yeah, that's what I'm going to call myself if I'm a real lover of whatever, if it's a person, if it's a band, if it's a movie series or whatever, you have people saying like, oh, I'm a stan for, Ariana Grande, or I'm a Twilight stan. Oh, I'm sorry. that hurt worse than I thought. My brain's going, don't do it, but I did it. Vampires don't fucking sparkle. Anyway, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? Oops. Also, in case you hadn't noticed, if you've never listened to my show before, I do tend to kind of bounce around when I talk about stuff, because that's the way my brain works. My favorite Disney character is Tigger. Can you figure out why? But I know the term stan came from the Eminem song Stan. If you listen to the Eminem song Stan, this song ends with a murder-suicide. What the fuck? Why do you want to compare yourself to this? That didn't end well. It's like people who are in relationships and they talk about how much they love somebody and they're like, oh, we're like Romeo and Juliet. I'm like, you know how that ended, right? You know, it's like, you know that didn't end well for either of them, correct? You know, it's weird, but I don't understand. Just jumping back to what I was talking about, I don't understand why people are like, you know, if you want to love everything AEW does, great. I'm not going to knock that. I mean, if you really feel like everything they do is absolutely perfect, I mean, I wouldn't go that far simply because it's staffed by humans and humans are inherently flawed, but that's getting into philosophy and I don't want to do that. Or if you feel like everything WWE does is perfect, again, but you know, I just don't understand the whole attitude of, well, if you are a little bit critical of something I like, I'm going to jump all over you and scream on you and yell at you and make you feel like a bad person. Assuming you do feel like a bad person if people yell at you, because some of us don't. Because some of us don't really give a shit. You know? I mean, I shouldn't say that. I try not to yell at people, and I try not to insult people, you know, unless you insult me first. Because I will not be the person that throws the first punch, but I will be the person that throws the last punch, verbally speaking. Because we don't hit. Hitting is bad. You know, let's all remember, hitting is bad. You shouldn't hit. Because we're all old enough to get charged as adults now. So, you know, anyway, moving on. We're over here now. Whee! So, this past weekend was the 4th of July weekend. Happy birthday, America. Woo! And I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. Ours was quiet because we don't, because fireworks are still illegal in Massachusetts. You wouldn't know it. But, you know, you know, so we just had like dinner and watched wrestling and, you know, just had a good time. Me and my husband, my sweetie, my puddin', my Imzadi TC, who puts up with all of my crazy shit and actually is the person that puts all this computer wizardry together, because that's totally not me. When it comes to like technology and stuff, he's the technological person. And I'm the cute one. You know, if I'm on the computer doing stuff, I'm like, honey, what does this blue screen mean? I'm selling myself slightly short. I'm not that bad, I hope, anymore. I really was, though, for the longest time. I was just like, I was very technophobic. I was very like, I don't want to touch anything like technical or electronic and stuff because I'll break it. I don't mean to break it. It's, you know, they're like, you know, computers and stuff, they're like dogs. They sense fear. So you have to just kind of go for it and like be bold and stuff like that. But, we got to watch a lot of wrestling. Oh my gosh. And, a lot of it was amazing and awesome. You know, we definitely love all the independent, feds out there all over the country. And I'm speaking just, you know, from me, from my heart, I really am so glad to see so many people are back to independent wrestling, back to, you know, being able to actually have independent wrestling shows because, you know, pandemic, and now things are starting to, you know, kind of be better and stuff. Although I guess there's like this new strain of COVID virus that I'm like, Do I have to get more shots? Oh, well. If I have to get more shots, I have to get more shots. Because I didn't have a problem. I hope everybody out there who got your shots, I hope you didn't have any problems. My only problem was the first shot. I got the shot, and I came home, and I felt fine. I was like, just kind of like, it's like, shot, go home, everything's cool. And like around 6 o'clock, 6:30 that night, I'm like, gosh, I feel a little tired. I think I'll go into bed. 12 hours later, woke up. I'm like, oh, okay. It's next day. Look at that. And didn't have any problems with the second shot, so yay for that. But I'm just so glad that there's so many wrestling independent shows that can actually work now, and that there's people coming back to them. And if you see somebody at a show that's wearing a mask, don't hassle them. Let them wear a mask. If they don't feel safe enough, if they don't feel comfortable enough yet, that they feel that they still need to wear a mask, let them wear it. Don't hassle them. Be cool. Like I said, we got to see Jersey Championship Wrestling. We got to see Game Changer, No Holds Barred, all kinds of crazy stuff, and it was just so cool to see all of the athletics and all of the fun and all of the violence. Because some people just need that every once in a while. People like me. That's one thing that I'm really looking forward to in the fall when Dark Side of the Ring comes back. Because I don't know about you guys, I watched Dark Side of the Ring. I've seen all of them, and I thought those were great episodes. And I cannot wait for the episode coming up in the fall that they're going to be doing on FMW. Because let's be honest, if FMW hadn't existed, I don't think there would have been an Extreme Championship Wrestling. I don't know. I don't think there would have been, like, the hardcore style wouldn't have made... I mean, it might have made it to America, but, I mean, FMW really was the starting point. It was the jump-off point for all of that. And getting to see some of the truly amazing, incredibly violent shit that I saw over the weekend, I'm like... looking back going, thank you FMW for making this possible. Because in what other place would you get to see a watermelon and a bowling ball and all kinds of other things like that used as a weapon? God bless America. I'm not well. I'm not crazy. I'm just a lot unwell. I do want to bring up one thing that this is, like I mentioned, got to see a lot of great indie stuff and lots of great indie wrestlers whom I adore. But you ever just get something stuck in your head and you don't know why it's stuck in your head? It's just one of those things that you, like if you hear somebody's name, it makes you think of something else. Charlie Tiger, who is a member of the independent faction Young, Dumb, and Broke, which are all amazing guys. Sometimes they can be kind of douchey in the ring, but that's their job. I'm sorry, whenever I hear his name, I keep wanting to, like, call him Charlie Striped Tiger, because I'm old. Oh, gosh. Sorry. I know some people out there who are, like, around my age are now going, you bitch. But, Daniel Striped Tiger, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Yes, we're all older now. We just have to deal with it. And I know probably people, Charlie's age, are going, what the hell is she talking about? Yes, enjoy your youth while you can, because it slips through your fingers so fucking fast. Although some people do say that I still have pretty good skin for someone the age that I'm at. And people ask me, how do you look so young, Kim? And I say, immaturity. That's my answer. Just be immature and the years just fly away. I think that, there's so much going on in wrestling now that it's just, people are trying to come back and, AEW is going to be going back out on the road. WWE is going to be going back out on the road. I think that's great. I'm a little nervous because they're larger crowds. The independent stuff hasn't bothered me as much because those do tend to be smaller crowds because they tend to be smaller venues, or in the case of like No Holds Barred, it's just outside, which I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That's the stupid thing because I was watching the stuff from No Holds Barred yesterday, and they're outside because their show was outside in the field of fear, which I was like, why not? It's alliterative. I like it. And there's, every 5 seconds they're smashing, light tubes and all that. And I'm like, well, that's good because it's outside and we're not going to have all that dust in the enclosed building. No, we're just going to have it in the air, just floating straight up because, I'm like, okay, that might actually not be better. We seem to have reached an impasse here. Oh, well. That was an awesome show. And I got to bring up just GCW's Backyard Wrestling, which was yesterday. Oh, my fucking frog. I understand that when you guys and gals do this stuff like that, you know that you're taking your life in your own hands. I don't think that's hyperbole with wrestling, that when these people go in the ring, they take their lives in their own hands. I mean, one false move and someone could, break their neck. I mean, that's, it's unfortunately, it's a simple fact. And we should be a lot more respectful to wrestlers because they are out there entertaining us and it's very dangerous what they do. And that's just in regular wrestling. Then you have backyard wrestling like GCW, which was just complete fucking lunacy. And I mean that in the nicest possible way, involving everything but the kitchen sink, only because I don't think they could figure out a way to drag a kitchen sink into the ring, considering that they used everything else, including, waiting, like small pools, regular in-ground pools, a big inflatable bouncy slide thing, which I knew was going to get involved. I was like, somehow that thing is going to get involved. Yeah, there we go. Chekhov's inflatable bouncy castle. Look up Chekhov's gun if you don't get it. Anyway. So at the climax of the show, which involved fireworks, because of course it did. Now, my whole thing is, okay, if you guys want to shoot fireworks at each other, far be it from me. You're all adults. You all know what you're doing, which was said with a modicum of hope. We'll just go with that. Hope never dies, folks. But my thing is, these guys are shooting at each other. Now, you've got one guy in the ring and one guy on the ground, and they're both shooting at each other with fireworks, which are flying off into the audience. Now, the wrestlers signed up for this shit. The audience did not. And nobody's moving. That's the thing that fucking floored me. I'm going, really? Y'all are just gonna sit there and let people shoot fucking fireworks at you? I mean, I know that I'm just, wow. I'm sorry, people start shooting fireworks at me, I am up the nearest tree. I'm sorry, I'm scaling the nearest fucking tree. I am diving on the ground. I am throwing myself on the ground and just burying my face in the dirt. I don't give a shit. I'm hiding behind somebody else. Because I'm sorry, that fire bad, folks. Fire very bad. Fire and human skin that is not a good match. That is not a love connection, people. I mean, it was just utterly insane and madness and bedlam, and I loved it. GCW is just completely, these people are nuts. And I mean, I appreciate it. I mean, coming from one insane person to another group of insane people, I really appreciate it. But cripes, that was frightening. Since this is just my coming back show, it's just kind of reintroducing me to the interwebs. I will be doing shows on the weekends, mostly just talking about whatever kind of springs into my rabbit hutch of a brain. If you guys have any questions, comments, queries, complaints, money, chocolate, Jungle Boy's phone number. No, I'm just, that's a joke. The last one was a joke. That was just humor. Stalking is bad, okay? And also, we all know that Jungle Boy has a lovely lady. We've all seen the picture. Jungle Boy and Anna J. Yeah. Of course. Because why not? Because, of course, somebody as staggeringly handsome as him is going to find a partner as staggeringly beautiful as she is, so they get to be that couple, you know, that one couple that when they walk in the room, they make everybody turn around and go, wow. Anyway, moving on. If you'd like to get in touch with me, platinumroselle@yahoo.com, or you can talk to me on Twitter. You can leave me comments, you know, whatever you'd like. I don't mind. I will get back to you. It may take a bit, but I will. And before I head out, I would like to talk about something else. Sex. Now I got your attention, didn't I? Well, wait, hold on, wait. It's not that kind of a show. When I say sex, one thing I'm going to talk about has to do with sex, but the other thing I'm going to be talking about does have to do with sex, but more it has to do with gender. Recently, there's been a bunch of fans complaining that AEW ref Aubrey Edwards is going into business for herself and trying to make things about her by being out there and having a personality and stuff like that, and not just being some bland little stick figure that, you know, wags their fingers in the wrestlers' faces and stuff like that. Because goodness knows we can't have her actually acting like a human being. Now, I'm sorry, this is bullshit. Because there is no motherfucking way that you cannot tell me that anybody would be saying this crap if Aubrey was a guy. There have been more than a few wrestling referees that have had their own personalities, and everybody knew it. You know, you had people like Mike Chioda, you had people like Danny Davis, and other, Red Shoes in Japan. You have all these people that people knew from wrestling referees. You had people like Pee Wee Anderson, Tommy Young, Nick Patrick, people like that. But because Aubrey's out there not doing anything different from those guys other than having the absolute cardinal sin of being a woman, you have some people who are just all like, oh, she's trying to put the attention on her. No. You're putting the attention on her because you can't deal with the fact that a woman is out there in a position of authority and you don't like it. Because it stomps on your precious little male egos. Now, before anybody starts screaming at me and being like, oh, she's some man-hating blah, blah, blah. That's not true. I love men. I love women. I love everybody. Not in that kind of way. I don't have I like people. I'm a person that doesn't, I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't like somebody because they're a man. I might not like you because you're an asshole. But I don't automatically hate women or hate men or anything like that. What I hate is people being like, well, because a person is a man or a woman, they have to act a certain way because I say so. No. Aubrey's out there doing her job. She's doing it really well. The fact that some people can't handle the fact that there's a woman out there doing a job that was traditionally held by men. I don't know how to break this to you guys, but, women have had the right to vote for a long time. We can do pretty much every job that men can do. We don't get paid as much, but we can do it. And we do it pretty much as good as most men can, or better sometimes, which I know some guys can't handle. And I just kind of feel like people who are spouting this kind of shit need to knock it the fuck off and take a good long look in the mirror and ask yourself why you're spouting this shit. Are you saying this stuff because Aubrey is really taking attention away from the wrestlers? Or are you saying it because she's a woman? And if the answer is because she's a woman and that bugs you, that's not on Aubrey, that's not on anybody else, that's on you. And you need therapy. The other thing that I wanted to talk about that has to do with sex, is something that I really shouldn't have to talk about because I'm assuming, considering that my language that I use on this show tends to be colorful. I'm assuming that everybody within the sound of my melodious voice is an adult, is over the is over the legal age and all that. So allegedly, you're a grown-up. And you know how to act like a grown-up because we live in a society. It might be a crumbling one, but we live in it. And people who live in a society should realize that you don't send pictures of your genitalia to someone else when they didn't ask for it. I bring this up because AEW wrestler and all-out ass kicker Nyla Rose has mentioned on her Twitter that she has been receiving unsolicited dick pics. Quit it. I'm sorry. The fact that it is 2021 and I need to say to people that I'm assuming are adults, don't send pictures of your privates to people who didn't ask for them, that's depressing. That is depressing. You know better than this. And I realize that somebody like Nyla Rose, who could very conceivably kick my ass, does not need some twit from Massachusetts to defend her. She can handle herself, and she could probably beat the holy crap out of anybody that sent her dick pics, but Nyla's not going to do that because she's a lady. And she's a classy lady, and she doesn't have to deal with this kind of crap. Nobody should have to deal with this kind of crap. This is not, believe me, it's not something that women need, want, desire, or anything like that. Nobody wants to be objectified. Nobody wants to be catcalled. Nobody wants any of that shit. Nobody. Knock it off. And anybody being like, oh, Nyla's a big girl, she can handle it and stuff like that. Yeah, she can handle it. But she shouldn't have to. Because you should act like a fucking adult and realize that sending pictures like that is not cool, is not funny, is certainly not going to come off as a romantic overture or whatever the fuck you were thinking. Just don't. That's basically all I have to say is just take, before you send anything on the internet, which will be out there forever, trust me, before you send it, whatever it is, take a minute, take a step back, and think about it. If there is even one brain cell in your head that says, hey, this is a bad idea, listen to that one lonely brain cell and don't do it. And you know what? I'm just going to say this as well, just to be even-handed. Ladies, don't send pictures like that either. I mean, you don't often hear of women sending unsolicited boob pics. It's not something that happens terribly often. Or pictures of anything else. At least I hope it doesn't happen often. Yike. But seriously, don't do it. It's not a good look for anybody. It's not cute, and it's a good way to wind up with pictures winding up in the hands of people you don't want them to. And when stuff's on the internet, it's on the internet forever. Just something to think about. But, and I really don't like coming back and having to rant like that, but good grief. I mean, I just don't understand why some people feel like doing things like that is a good thing to do. I don't get it at all. So now I am back on the interwebs and back with my little wrestling podcast where I talk about wrestling and whatever else happens to be flitting through my brain at the time. I'm glad to be back. I hope you're glad I'm back. And if you're not glad I'm back, too bad. But I hope that we can all enjoy wrestling together. And I hope that you guys will listen to my show and comment and let me know what you think of it. If you check out all the other stuff that's on our web pages, me and TC and all the other crazy things we do, I hope you will do that. And this is Kim Brown signing off here for another week on Ring Around the Rosie, reminding you to hug the ones you love the ones you hug, take some time to stop and smell the roses, be safe, be kind, and have fun. Bye!
You have been listening to Ring Around the Rosie with Kim Brown, a production of PNRNetworks. Keep in touch with all things about the show at http://ringaroundtherosie.net. Ring Around the Rosie intro performed by Eric Lyon. Ring Around the Rosie theme by Digital Juice. Join Kim for a new Ring Around the Rosie every Wednesday. Ring Around the Rosie is copyright 2018 PNR Networks, Boston, Massachusetts, USA.
15 years, blowing the doors off the competition, podcasting to planet Earth.
PNRNetworks.com